George Adventure. I took the first Monday morning inspirational talk video down just a few minutes ago. I deleted it. Apologized, but I didn't like it, so I'm gonna do another one after I have a swig of this Coke. It is cold today. The wind's blowing about 20 miles an hour out here, and got this big old Carhartt jacket on. Got my neck warmer on. In Mossy Oak, but so got to stay warm. So I did a video about, I don't know, 3 weeks ago maybe, and it, just talked about some of the things in Atlanta and just different things, the way our culture is. So I had a subscriber to ask me. He asked me if I would do a video about, because I had mentioned that I got robbed at a gas station in Atlanta. So he wanted me to do a video and maybe explain what I did wrong and stuff like that. So, and then some of my experiences in this city, so that's what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna try to make it inspirational, because I've been working in this city for about 41 years, and it's just got worse. It's just gotten worse as time goes. So, but anyway, enough of that. So I'm going to talk about the day I got robbed. So I drove in that morning, and I needed some gas on the way home. So I stopped over at Ashby Street and MLK, which is a very rough area of Atlanta. That was the first mistake. My first mistake was not getting gas out where I live. So I did it there, and it's a rough area, a lot of shootings and just all kind of drugs and whatever. So anyway, so that was my first mistake. So I pulled in and get out, and of course I locked my truck up, and but I locked my truck up with my pistol in there. So I get my gas nozzle and put it inside of the truck, and it's fueling up. And of course, another mistake I made is I had the gas nozzle here, and that kind of blocked my exit. I could go the other way, but so I'm sitting there, watching the gas pump, and just kind of looking around a little bit. So this guy comes up, and I had a bag of trash and about 3 pizza boxes that I was going to throw in a dumpster, and I forgot to do it. But so he comes back, and he's kind of mouthing a little bit, hey, and he grabbed the trash bag and carried it over to the dumpster at the gas station. I said, hey man, don't do that. He said, oh man, I'm just trying to help a man out, I should have had a red flag. So he grabbed the pizza boxes and carried them over there. So I said, man, don't do that. Don't do that. Oh man, I'm just trying to help a man out and all this stuff. And so he instead of coming back to the side of the truck, he walks around to the front, and I'm standing, and there's a gap in the, an opening where the gas pumps are at. So instead of coming around, he comes and blocks that opening right there. He said, oh yeah, just starts, mouthing and stuff. Nothing bad, just, trying, like he was trying to strike up a conversation. And I said, hey man, I'm not giving you no money or nothing. So about that time I said that, he pulls that pistol out, just pulls it out. It was a silver looking, I don't know if it's stainless steel or whatever, just pulled a little auto out, did that, and then slid it back down in his belt. So I'm like, oh, okay. So, and he's smiling at me the whole time. So, when somebody pulls a gun out, he didn't point it at me, but he pulls it out and shows it to me. You kind of get a little weak-kneed, because you don't know what that person's going to do. So I had $22 in cash in my wallet. I put my wallet in my pocket. He took it, and I had an orange neck warmer on similar to this one. So he pointed to it and smiled at me. So I took it off because it was cold that day, and I gave it to him. He said, God will bless you for that. Then he just walks off. Well, I was thankful he just walked off, because you don't ever know, man. He could have been on drugs. So he walked off, and so I got the nozzle out and hung it up. I wasn't even worried about how much gas was in my truck. So I got in my truck and called the police, locked the door and called the police. And so the City of Atlanta cops came up there, and they asked for a description of him. I gave it to him, and they wasn't too concerned. They was kind of like, okay, yeah, well, we'll do whatever, until I told them. He showed me that pistol. Then they took off and went down to where I showed them, tried to find him, but the Atlanta police, they're beat down, they're overwhelmed. The management of the police department don't do anything to help them, So, that's another bad thing about it. The city politicians don't care about the police department, So I get in my truck, and I was lucky I had some more cash. I went and paid for my gas, and so I get in my truck and leave, and so I'm sorry I'm scrubbing my eyes and my nose, but that wind's rough. So like I said, my first mistake was getting gas. They're out there in Atlanta at that spot. That was my first mistake. Not getting gas near my home. Second mistake was when I got out, I should have put my pistol on my side. Now, you never know what you'll do. You never know what you'll do. And I've had some defense training and stuff, but you still don't know what you'll do, because it happens so quick. So kind of had my guard. I let my guard down, and the third thing, I let him get in my space. I should have told him to stay back, stay over there, which I do that now. I don't let people anywhere get up. I'll say, stay right there, don't come over here any closer, especially my wife is with me. So she said, I wish you wouldn't do that. I said, I'm not letting him over here. I'm not letting him over here. So, and so I should have done that, and I shouldn't have got gas down there. Smart thing would have been putting a nozzle in, getting back in my truck and sitting there while it filled up, Of course, I guess I could have pulled it out and sprayed him with gas, but so, I made some mistakes, and I pondered it and thought about it for a while, and since then, I'd already had one gun class. Since then, I had an advanced self-defense concealed carry class. So, I learned a lot in that, and I've had one little self-defense class. Kind of tells you how to use a knife and what you go for if you're trying to get somebody away from you or hurt somebody. Self-defense. So with that, I learned a lesson. So my thing now is I don't let anybody in my space. And if I get out like that, I usually have my concealed carry weapon with me. I always now. Unfortunately, the world we live in, it's a crazy world, and I carry all the time. I even carry in church, because and there's a lot of us that do. I conceal carry. I don't open carry, which that's a mistake. Never open carry, because if you're sitting somewhere or standing somewhere or walking around Walmart or wherever with your gun out and open, and somebody comes in there and start shooting, they're going to shoot you first, or they're going to grab your gun from you. So never carry open. I know that's a big deal in the gun community, kind of back and forth with it, but the guy that taught us my last gun class, he was a specialized person, been in the government and all that, and that's the first thing he said, don't carry open. And it makes sense, because you're kind of putting a target on your back. You're going to get taken out first. So don't carry open, And I carry, I carry an auto, and sometimes I'll have an extra magazine. And my deal is, especially when I'm with my wife or my grandchildren, I am going to do what I got to do to protect them. But one of the big things you can do is don't let somebody in close to you. Tell them to stay back. Stay back. Even if you got to raise your voice, stay back. Don't, and a lot of people says that's rude, but not being rude. You're protecting yourself. You're protecting your zone. You got a zone you need to protect. So you need to make sure those people stay away, Now, if you're in Walmart or grocery store pushing a buggy around, that ain't gonna work. But if you're out somewhere in a parking lot or if you're in an ATM or whatever, you need to tell them to stay back. If you want to carry a gun. If you don't want to carry a gun, carry a knife. If you don't want to carry a knife, there's things you can do. You go, you do this, you go for their eyes, you go for the growing if you're a woman, you go for the eyes. You can stick your thumb in your eyes, because when you go for their eyes and you stick your fingers in their eyes start watering. So that puts them at a disadvantage. We know what happens if you kick a man in his growing. That's a bad blow. Go for the nose. You hit somebody in the nose, do it and run. If a guy pulls a knife on me, and I ain't got my gun, or I'm gonna get away. I'm gonna run. I'm gonna get away, because I ain't gonna get stabbed. That's probably one of the worst injuries you can get. But so, that's, and I've seen a lot of stuff here in this city. I've seen dead bodies laying there after they've been shot. I've seen, police chases. I had to pull over in police chases. I've seen drug deals. I've heard shooting all the time. And we actually had, during the Friday night of Y2K, when Y2K was coming in 2000, people were shooting guns up in there, and we had a guy standing there at the gate, because we were there at night watching the computers. Because, you had all this stuff about how power was going to go out and wasn't going to be no food, wasn't going to be no electricity because of Y2K, which is a bunch of nonsense. That just shows you can't believe all this stuff, World War III stuff, and all this garbage the media puts out. You just have to ignore it. For your sanity, you just got to ignore what the media says. They hyped Y2K up. They hyped the Cold War up. They hyped 9/11 up. We're going to have World War III and that. We're going to have World War III right now. So you can't listen to the media. They hype everything up. So you do what you got to do to protect yourself. So I've seen this a lot of stuff in Atlanta, and but the guy was shooting. He was shooting at the building next door, and you could hear the bullets ricocheting and stuff. So we went back inside, called the cops. But just a lot of crazy madness going on. I had a naked guy one night. I was in here at 2 a.m. working trouble, and he saw my company truck. I was going back to the headquarters in due time. Well, he's naked, and he just runs toward my truck. Well, I put it in reverse and backed up. So about that time, I saw an Atlanta cop, and the cop turned his blue lights on, got him, and arrested him. He was on drugs. I've had another guy run at me like that, and so, there's just a lot of stuff. You got to keep your doors locked in your vehicle. You don't know what people will do. And there's a lot of drugs and stuff down here. But even at your house, you or your neighborhood, or if you live in a small town, you still got to be aware. That's your best defense, is to pay attention to what goes on around you, to look around. I'm sorry, I'm getting my carrot for the day. My pocket dump. If you're not aware of your surroundings, then somebody's going to get the drop on you, and you don't want somebody to get the drop on you. So you need to pay attention to what's going on around you all the time. If you're out pumping gas, you need to pay attention. Watch what you're doing. I don't care if you're walking out in your yard or walking up your driveway to go to the mailbox. You need to pay attention to what's going on, because we live in a dark world. We live in a broken world. We live in an evil world. And you know, people say, well, why does God do this and do that? Well, God gives us free will. But he only wants good things for us. You know, he wants good things for everybody. But he gives people free will, and we got a lot of meanness going on out there. Our culture has gotten more rotten than it's ever been. So that's why you need to pay attention to yourself and what's going on around you, especially when you got your wife, or your grandkids, or your children. You got to be ready. You need to be thinking what you're gonna do. You know, if you see somebody looking crazy, think about, you know, am I gonna run over this way? Or when you go to a restaurant, you need to face the door. You already need to have you a place where you're gonna run to. You need to, you know, protect your wife and your kids. Put yourself in front of them. If you're carrying, you need to watch that front door. Watch who's coming in, whether it's a restaurant or whatever. If you're at Walmart, pay attention. Pay attention. It's what you got to do nowadays. So anyway, that's my inspirational talk. I don't know if it was too inspirational, but maybe just a little advice. So today's pocket dump. I got my Mantis. Fantastic EDC knife. It's sharp as a razor. It's got some great steels. It's got some tiner on it. Now get another one of these. I'm gonna get the stainless steel one, but this is a freaking nice knife. I mean, it's great. And you know, it's just a nice knife. It's very good knife company. So, you know, check them out, man. This is a very well-priced knife, a good priced knife, and this is a lot of knife, a good quality knife for the money. Got me a 75 today. Got a 75 today, carrying it. This is an older one. This is an 80s model. You can see the tang. Nice big old clip blade. You can do a lot of stuff with this knife. It's got 3 blades. And main blades, the clip blades is centered. Got some pretty brown bone. I like this thing really a lot. So I'm carrying my pocket organizer here. Got my Night Eyes flashlight. Got my little ink pen, Bastion ink pen. And I'll tell you, one of the most handiest things you can have is a pocket flashlight, because you just never know when you might need it. Never know. You just don't. I got my Knipex. Great little set of pliers, and I carry these every day. And I use them a lot. I took the battery off my lawnmower with them the other day. And I've got a Sodi here in my pocket. Sorry about having to dig. I should have had this stuff out. I'm out here on the job. I've got this chestnut bone sod buster. Ain't that pretty? Don't that pretty, as Mr. Terry would say. Got a lot of patina on it. A lot of tiner, Mr. Richter. Look at there. Best carry knife made. And I was going to do my Sunday Sodi that HT started, open tag, but I had stuff going on, and so I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it next Sunday. So I got my little Hank. I got my little pocket thing here, was gave to me, and this says, "Do not be afraid, I am with you." And I carry it every day. That's a good carry thing. And get through all these clothes here. I got 500 jackets on and all this 50 shirts, because it's so cold and I hate cold weather. I don't hate cold weather, as far as I think it's, you know, God blesses us no matter what, but I'm not a cold weather person. So I got my Parker Jotter. This is the XL. It's in black. Get it at Staples. You can get it on Amazon. And it's not made in China. It's made in France. Love this pen. Love this pen. I love Parker Jotters. If you want you a good priced ink pen that can take a beating that'll last forever, get you a Parker Jotter. So that's I'm at 20 minutes, so I'm gonna stop and I'm gonna repost this one. So y'all have a great day. Remember, God is always good.